I'm not sure on this one. Okay, so, but right now there's a big change about where she's living, around home, with mom, with the past. Some big shock is coming. That Uranus is built up, but it hasn't just suddenly got here. It's slowly built up over the last 20 years. All her life, it's to move 2 degrees. It's been in conjunctus. It's had that Uranus opposition. Her moon's opposed Uranus and Jupiter in her chart, squaring her Mercury. That's been there. It's opposing it. It's coming to. It's moving up. That Uranus is slowly moving to be more exact to the moon. It's changing the way she's lived. Now she's studying astrology during this, so it's obviously the astrology is shaking up the past, and it's made that this shaking up of the past and the breaking with the past, that's been there from the day she was born. The anxiety, the shock, the breaking away from home, from family, from mom, but it's built up right to now exactly. So a look at these 3 hexagrams and reading through these lines would be useful in this. So but for her, I'm not going to do it, but it's just, you see, this is a unique quality. It's built up to an exact point of what's going on. So you'd have to get in the session, you have to say, well, what's happening with family, home, security, memories, feelings, everything's being changed. It's being radically changed, but it's radically changing steadily. So if you put it back for a year or two, it's our webinars building right up into this. The webinars would have started just as her sun went from, her Uranus went from breakthrough resoluteness into the creative strength. She broke through and started taking the astrology and thinking for herself. And maybe it's making her break with the past. Change of habits, change of things, then it moves forward. Then okay. Yeah, then it just keeps going forward. It's 2 degrees, goes into 3 degrees. I've highlighted it when it changes to subpentans. The pentans, it goes into 4 degrees and 5, and goes up to 5 degrees, but it won't get into the 6th degree. So for her whole life, her Uranus is in this 1 hexagram, goes through the 6 lines of it. It goes through 7 hexagrams. It will change into Taurus if she lives long enough in 2062, or the subpentan, and it goes through various changes with the pentans. But these are, all the dates of these are marked, and anytime if you want to look up for now, well, for now she's got the exact aspect, so that would be the one to look at. That's for now in August 23rd. And it's going to be there for a period of time, so you know you can walk into this nerve. This nerve is there. The Uranus energy is active and changing her older sense of stability or security. Okay, we got a lot to go through, but everyone has, like, these are little things, but they're not little things. They're huge things that are changing. It's 1 or 2 things happening with the Uranus, but they're really significant things. So, okay, now we're going to go to Neptune. Hold up a little bit here. Easy to read. Her Neptune starts retrograde. Her Neptune, it's at 26 degrees of Pisces. It's retrograde. And the Mars is retrograde too. But the Mars will move faster. So Mars will probably move back into that, back and forth around that Neptune. We did that, but I don't remember. It's retrograde. It changes degree. It changed degree in 87, but it stopped being retrograde in 2003. It went direct. It's stationed. We say it's stationed because it's going direct, but really it's in that 27. It went 26 degrees into 2659 from 1980-89. And it got to 2557. So it didn't get back to 26 degrees till 2015. So this whole period has been within the same 1 degree from in 1987 right through to 2015. Okay, so there's 13, there's 28 years in this 1 degree. Well, that 1 degree is certainly worth looking at, and there's hexagon 39, which is the hexagon of obstructions, and it goes line 6, line 5, line 6, and you see advice on how to deal with these obstructions. And this is Neptune, the confusions or the expectations or the dependencies or the visions. Her very Neptune factor is going through its changes. Then anything that happens from Neptune in transits and other things is affected by these changing attitudes. So progressions affect the inner factors of the planets and affects the rulerships going on in your chart. When a planet moves into a sign, it accentuates that ruler. That rulership accentuation will affect the natal chart and affect the planets in the mundane and the transits in the natal chart, affect the power basis of what's ruling. Here, when it went into the 26 degrees, it's still in the 26 degrees now. So it's still, this is the phase she's still in from 2016 to 2019. It's still within 1 to 2 minutes of a degree of moving back into this degree. And again, you go to line 1 and line 2 of this hexagram of it changes. It's not obstruction. It got out of the obstruction. It's in the hexagram of double keeping still or double meditation. So like obstructions have been removed. Again, this change is during the time of studying the astrology. Was a big part of these changes. It's going to come back, and Neptune is going to come back and conjunct its own position. In 1934, it gets back to the starting point. Comes back to the starting point of the chart. It's in the 3rd house of studyings of beliefs. Then it starts moving forward, but it's never going to get close enough to conjunct the Mars. It's just going to go up to, if she lives to 100, it'll be 27 degrees Scorpio, which is not. It's only a few degrees closer to the Mars. She'll do more with it, but the 27 degrees gets very close to the opposition to Venus, but not. It just gets within a degree of the opposition to Venus. So some of that belief system is still there. Okay, that's the Neptune. And the Pluto, just to take a look at everybody's to put some emphasis, to see what's standing out around this. So her Pluto is just on her ascendant, 3 degrees into her 1st house. Looks like it's in the 12th, but the arrow, the line points here. It's really just 3 degrees into the 1st house. Her Pluto's direct, so it's moving away from that. Goes forward, it comes up, and the north node's at 23 degrees, 1 degree away. So it does south node, so it does conjunct the south node, whatever that would mean. And usually we expect some confrontation or challenge with family or with the past, it's affecting off the node. Right now, it's in the Virgo, Aquarius, Leo theme. This is the Pluto, and it's going from 64 before completion, line 5 to line 4. So you can go in and read this and you get a whole nother story. But even for just reading the stories and taking them as metaphors without mechanically thinking the techniques of astrology, it's insightful. You get ideas that are useful for you to know. So then it's going to shift in 21 from a Leo to a Virgo subphase. So in the Leo phase, she's learning astrology, even though it's challenging old values, and it doesn't get far enough to conjunct that. So the Pluto here, it will at most, will it conjunct, it may, yes, if she lives to 2061, it will square her Mercury. That's a really sharp thinking time. And challenge what ideas are, what's true, what's not. So that's firing up the Mercury. So you can see, it's hard to imagine what happens towards the end of life or what happens, but many people she could be writing very clearly, or she could be really sharp at what she knows and strong about it during those times. Okay. The next chart, I mean, just the nature of the class, even for a consultation, you don't have time to do one session and deal with all the stuff in a person's chart. Even in preparation, you couldn't. The times I've dealt with it for myself, and occasionally I've done a series of personal readings over 12 months for a person once a month, and we do one planet a month, and we look at everything, transits, progression, the whole thing, and we build that up over a year as a personal, intimate, in-depth study of the chart. That's sort of the next level, if there was a level. but it's only done that with a couple of people. So it's, but this, what was I saying that? Yeah, so it's information that's there, when to tap it, how to tap it, who to tap it for, but it happens. And anytime you take the extra time to notice these extra things, it's worth having it in your arsenal of information. So, okay, here's the thing you know about all these people is that they're studying astrology with me at this time, at this place in their life. Here's July 23rd, Shanghai. So it's just the end of Cancer. Aquarius moon, Sag rising. Her Pluto, her Uranus, she's born near the Uranus conjunct Pluto, just separating. Uranus is 21 degrees. And Pluto's 18, and Uranus is going forward. So, but 21 degrees here, Neptune's at 21 degrees, so she has a sextile. And early in her life, it becomes exact in her first year. The Neptune sextiling her Uranus, whatever that means, but it's going from 9th house, 1 year old. You can't measure it. As long as it changes degree in 75, changes again in 94. It's not making any, it just goes through changes of degrees until 2018, August 8th, 2018, last summer, where her Uranus came along and squared her ascendant and moved up just enough to square the ascendant. That's a big shock. That's a big interchange in attitude to relationships. Okay, and so, you know, there's a change in the outlook, change in the way of relationships, and the whole putting together a new package of who am I? And as she's doing it during this turning point, this big inner turning point, she's been studying astrology through all of this. Uranus up in the 9th house of higher understanding with Pluto and Venus. So, and her Venus is not badly aspected, but Uranus, Pluto are conjunct. That's not a bad place, not making any bad aspects to anything in the chart. But it moves up, and well, you could say it's squaring the ascendant, and it moves up to make that aspect tighter. Yeah. But, okay. And it just keeps going on degree by degree. It'll move up. There's no other big thing comes up, small minor aspects. It'll get up to 27 degrees of Virgo. So it's from 21 to 27 degrees of Virgo. This is a straight moving Uranus. No retrograde, then it just moves straight. You see, it's not going into the next sign. It's not changing house. It's issues about, I mean, she's living outside of the country she's born at. It's long distance travel, it's understanding. Like, it all fits in to its natal position, and it changed. It went past the original dream, and now she's changing relationships, changing ideas, changing her understanding at the same time. Her understanding is changing, and she's seeing relationships differently and her identity differently. Because astrology tends to do that, you know. You say, you mean I'm really like this? You mean this is really me? Oh my goodness, why have I been trying to be like that for so long? Okay, I'm going to look at the Neptune.